There it is.
Oh, it is? Okay. Yes. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the Loki spoiler review for episode 4. This is going to be exciting. I'm the only one who liked the episode. So let's just get started right away. Mr. Ricardo Negron, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you all doing?
Wonderful. Mr. Carlos Romero.
Yo, what's going on?
Mr. Richard Bailey Jr., filming from the set of A Quiet Place Part 3.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris Seeley.
Why does Marvel hate us?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Damn, already.
He been waiting to do this.
Joey Polanco, the son of Tony.
What's
You know?
What's up?
What's up? Hello, Mr. Polanco Sr.
Hello, how are you doing? I'm actually not upset with this week's episode.
Oh, controversial.
That's controversial.
There we go.
I'm really curious what the splits are going to be because I know this is going to be a split episode.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting, to quote Richard Bailey Jr.
Very true. So let's just kind of get started right away with our thoughts and opinions right off the top. Overall, the episode, Mr. Polanco Sr.
Damn, I took a fucking bite and you go on me first.
Okay, Mr. Chris Seeley.
Well, I'll say this: they must have switched writers between episode 3 because the first 2 minutes of this episode conveyed more than the entire 42 minutes of episode 3. So
Wow.
I can give him credit for that. Like in a 6-episode series, how you make one episode irrelevant is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I could jump in now.
Okay. Yeah.
I need to digest what Chris just said right now. I think he might be right. But yeah, I didn't hate this episode. Stuff happened, which is good because of last week's episode, I'm like, where's this going? What's going on? There's a fucking planet falling and I'm bored out of my mind, But this one, I'm like, hey, stuff's happening. And I'm wondering, actually, I hope this is a pattern that we see, right? I'm noticing the even number ones are the good episodes. So next week will be trash, and then the season finale will be good. So hopefully it'll be like that,
Wow. Or we could just have really great, excellent 6 episodes as they
That's
all
not
were.
gonna. No. Maybe to you. I'm glad. I'm so glad you're loving this show. I'm so glad you're loving it because at least somebody is getting something from this. I'm like, bruh, Anyway, that's all my thoughts for now.
Mr. Bailey Jr., who is hiding from Chucky. Any thoughts?
Okay, I do have some thoughts. Hopefully everybody can hear me clear.
Yeah.
Let me just say this right now. The last 10 minutes of the episode, that to me was the best part of the episode. Everything before that, it just dragged on.
Oh, you mean when they took the elevator to Showbiz Pizza? You mean that part?
I mean, when Morbius got pruned and onward, that's when the episode was good for me. Everything up until that point, it felt like it dragged.
Wow, you guys are awful. Joey,
No, it's just,
someone.
did you miss me?
Joey?
Oh, my turn. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
No, I agree with what Rich said. I think this episode was subpar, but I think it was the best CW show episode I've ever witnessed. Let me explain. I'll
put
get
on
there.
the DC hat again.
I'll get there.
I'm
But
gonna switch hats.
the last 10 minutes was great, but I feel like this entire episode we just recapped everything that happened in the first 3 episodes. I'm like, why did we do this? Why are we just repeating information? I thought it was well, I'll get into it. I got my popcorn ready.
Dímelo.
Jesus.
I got the buckets ready.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Mr. Negron, please, someone save me.
I'm gonna go against the grain here. I actually enjoyed the episode from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you had the whole thing, like you're seeing the relationship with Loki and Sylvie. They're getting closer and closer, almost to an uncomfortable level, and then they're saved exactly the way I thought they'd be saved. Then you have all kinds of stuff go down, like I was brokenhearted when Mobius got pruned. Just him talking about him wanting to do the water skiing. It's like, oh my god, and that broke that was sad. And then you had all the other shit go down, like finding the timekeepers and all that, and that big reveal, the whole fight. It was intense. I thought the episode, like maybe I'm biased because the last part of the episode had like the biggest impact, arguably, of the series. So, but I love the episode, beginning to end. And yes, it didn't have the same flow the whole way through, but that's fine because what it did, unlike the previous, the end of episode 3 was almost kind of laughable. Like, okay, they're screwed. I mean, someone's going to save them anyway somehow, but it looks like they're screwed. We just wasted a whole bunch of time on that planet. This episode didn't feel like a waste at all. It was like everything's like, okay, now we're going, and now we're getting a bunch of, big reveals or fake reveals, like in the case of the timekeepers, and it just leaving more questions, and it's like leaves you on big cliffhangers, especially after the credits, which we can get into in a bit. But I love the episode. I think that was the best in the series so far.
Thank you, God. Mr.
Chris, I need you to save me, Chris.
Yeah. Well, while this episode is punctuated,
we got to get to Carlos though. We got to.
We got to Mr. Romero
and Carlos.
Yeah.
Not a good start.
So here we go. I agree with Mr. Negron and Miss Abercrombie, and I don't know who else is in this. I guess Tony is kind of on the fence. So I'm more on the positive side. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I do agree that the first part was slow, but I can appreciate when an episode is slow when it leads to something that is so climactic at the end. Unlike the last episode that just led to something that was anticlimactic, because we already know they're going to get saved and they're just stuck in a planet. It's like, oh, they're going to be saved. Well, what's the point? But this episode, it's more like it led to something that everyone is just wondering. It's like, whoa, what does this all mean? It was a lot of good scenes. The whole, relationship between Loki and Sylvie and Loki and Mobius, for me, was some of the best parts of the show. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was leaps and bounds and galaxies and light years away from what we got last episode.
Yes, amazing. Somewhat. So we are split basically. So this will be a split.
Don't
show.
worry, Chris will make me hate the episode by the end.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Right now we're pretty even. Dana, what are your quick thoughts?
My quick thoughts is that I had 3 emotions watching this. I was excited, sad, and then excited again. So basically 2 emotions just once, twice. I felt that they laid a really great groundwork for kind of explaining. I know that people complained that the other episodes was talky and not a lot was happening, but I felt with this one it finally got to the point. It explained everything that was happening. The characters acted like they were, like it was part of their characters. The whole situation with Loki being with a Loki, that kind of made sense to me. We finally got answers about what the TVA really is, who are the lizard people. And also at the end credits, we also got an explanation of why everyone kind of hated the time travel. Why was it that, Doctor Strange can see 8 billion different versions and we couldn't? And every time that, only the Avengers could go back in time and change everything. It explained perfectly everything that people complained about. So I thought it was excellent. And it shows that this show, you have to have patience. Patience, Captain America. Yes, Joey.
I'm with Richard's face right there. I caught Richard's face. Go on, continue.
No, we're going, Richard. You seem like you're ready to fight.
Go ahead, Richard.
I have a problem with the comment that it explains perfectly. That episode, I was like, what the hell is going on here? Well, we know that Loki survived, right? So
we know that, and so did everyone who got pruned is fine.
Yeah, and then the other versions of Loki, yes, that's interesting, but they still need to explain a lot of this stuff. So I wouldn't say it's all explained.
Yeah, I didn't get any explanations.
Wait, how did you
Yeah.
guys not get any
Oh.
explanations?
I got only 2 explanations. One is that everyone that was pruned survived, and 2, Gator Loki.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and this is what I was asking myself after
Mhm.
I watched the ending. I'm like, is everything that gets pruned go to that
Yes.
place that was at the end? That's what I assumed.
Yes.
So, okay,
We don't
that's
know that.
So
Yeah,
no, it is.
we don't know that.
We don't know that.
We don't know
Yes,
that yet.
it is
No.
because
Where is that place?
No, we don't. So
We have
Yes, we
zero
know.
information.
We do know that because if you watch the very end, the after credit, whatever thing it is, and what was it, the 3 Loki or Low guys or whatever you want to call them, when they came in there, the 4 of them, when they came there, what was in the background? We saw all this rubble and destruction, right? What
Right.
was that? That was New York. Remember the Battle of New York in the
Yeah,
first
because the
Avengers?
Avengers Tower was there.
The Avengers Towers was destroyed. So that place, it showed that Loki actually won the war.
Do we?
And yes,
Yes, but that's an assumption.
That's an
It's not a
assumption,
fact.
yeah.
that's not an
Not a fact.
assumption.
Yes, it
That's
is.
not an
That's
assumption.
a hardcore
That's
assumption.
not
That's
an
an
assumption.
that's an
That's
assumption.
a
The
hardcore
Battle of
assumption.
New York was they destroyed everything.
You know what
No,
I think?
Dana.
I think that's just the specific place. I think this is what I think. This is just me assuming now, or taking a guess. I think everybody who gets pruned goes to their own personal little pocket universe. That one Loki went to is represents whatever's going on inside of him. So like Owen Wilson goes to his little world. Other girl goes to her little world. That's what I think it is. I think the reason you saw New York there is because that's Loki's. That's the thing that fits him perfectly. Kind of like earlier we had what's her face constantly punching him. That represents something.
Lady Sif.
Lady Sif. That's something that's very specific to Loki. So I think that pruning. I don't like that term, by the way. It sounds weak, but that's just a pocket dimension, tailor made specifically for variance. That's what I think it is.
What's crazy is that.
Yeah, you did. I was eating. I made no bones about that, bro.
What's crazy is that I do agree with Dana, but the issue is just that you can't say it's been proven. Well, that's just our assumption.
Yeah, you can't. You can say that's what you think. That's fair.
Yeah.
But you can't say
Fine,
it
fair.
is that
Because
like I
this
just said, I don't know. I'm just making my guess. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Just don't
But
say it is
it's
that.
the most one that makes the most sense.
That's
Because
fair.
you show that. Remember how they was explaining you can't deviate from the timeline. Everything that you do is wrong. And remember how they said the Avengers, how come they could go back? That was supposed to happen. Well, we know now. Why does this keep popping up? We know now that it goes according to whomever is in charge of the TVA. They are the ones who's controlling things. No?
Sorry.
No, keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
No,
Speaking of-
they. Yeah.
Okay.
No, keep going.
They are the okay. No, I didn't know because Joey was like in there having like an asthma attack or something. They are the one who is explaining everything, and I mean they're the ones who are controlling everything. Not the 3, because we know the 3 God Lizards is something out of the Wizard of Oz.
They're from Stan Winston's studio.
Basically, but we know. To me, it came as if there was a monologue that said chaotic energy wants to be free and that it's always trying to make itself be broken into free. So to me, it seems like the multiverse was supposed to exist. And the TVA, or whoever it is that is actually in charge, it's trying to make it linear and not have all these different timelines. And they're the ones who keep erasing different moments and different outcomes of how things are supposed to happen. And when we saw the Avengers Tower destroyed, and we know through trailers, because they showed us through trailers, there's a President Loki and everything else, he was supposed to actually win the war. And he didn't, because the TVA, whomever gods it is that's out there, kept resetting. And that's why we got the outcome that we got, and why it seems like, only the Avengers can go back in time, because that's the timeline that they want. But in actuality, everyone else can deviate and do what it is that they're supposed to do, because that's how the way it's supposed to be. The universe seems like it wants to split. But the TVA or whomever it is like, nah, you can't. If that makes
Okay,
sense.
how does that explain where Loki ends up in the end?
Loki ends up, well, I can take part of your explanation and be like, this is everyone's little pocket of where it happens when you're pruned.
Yeah.
And those are the different versions of Loki that were supposed to exist, but they got pruned and out
Yeah.
of existence.
Yeah,
They
I think
still
so.
exist,
Yeah.
but in that dimension.
Yeah.
My prediction, because they can't keep up the continuity straight.
Yeah, I agree.
My this episode actually changed my theory of who's on top of all this. You answered half of it with some of my explanation there. I actually do think it's actually Loki.
Another Loki.
That would make sense.
Not this Loki, the other Loki. Like writers. What Mobius said. I'm trying to think if it was the first or second episode, but you touched on it. We were saying something of chaos. What was it exactly?
Chaotic energy. Remember, there was a monologue that said chaotic energy, and that made me think of WandaVision.
Yeah, but what I actually thought was he was saying, like, you know, your purpose here is to disrupt everything. You're purposely destructing things that I'm butchering the line exactly, but I was thinking about the last 10 years that each time you saw Loki, and each time he did try to do something, it did form, like it formed the Avengers, it formed this event, it formed that event. Even when he tries to be good, it ends to something's end, like Ragnarok and things of that nature. So that's why I was thinking of, like, this person beyond all this could try to be getting rid of all these Lokis because they are the only ones that will kind of see through this plan. Hence, all of them ending in this pocket.
Right. And then that also touches on Sophie. Because remember, it explained how Sophie was a child, right? And they was always running after her. But listen, there was a part where we saw Loki as a child and she was playing. She viewed herself as a hero. It wasn't like a bad, mischievous Loki. She viewed herself as like, I'm the heroic Loki. Let me, be great. And they kept erasing that timeline because that is not what they wanted from her. They wanted Loki to be the mischievous, chaotic role.
So can we all agree that this is that Sylvie is Loki now, or is
I think
she
she's
Enchantress? Or
I think she's Loki. I think she might. I just don't know who's the main one.
she had black hair in the flashback.
She did.
That's what confused me.
Then maybe that version of Loki is the actual Loki that we haven't seen yet.
Or she dyed her hair.
Well, yeah, that is true. She's on the run.
Just keep it simple. She just dyed her hair.
Like, keep it simple. She dyed her hair.
Make it harder for people to find her.
Yeah, especially during that I was trying to pinpoint the time that this took place, because during that flashback she's playing and she's using a Valkyrie toy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this memory is from when exactly and stuff like that. I don't know. Something in that flashback didn't seem right. I don't know if it could be like a diversion or something, or remembered wrong.
I did like that flashback only because without talking, it conveyed more information than the entire third episode.
Yeah.
So you see where she came from. You see that the current judge was responsible for her. She goes, does the whole TVA spiel, arrests her, takes her for judgment, and then she escapes. So you understand why she is jumping through time. You understand why she hates the TVA, and she specifically hates what's the character's name?
Ravonna.
The main judge. Yes,
Rex. Or what's the name of that?
Ravonna.
Yeah.
My prediction now, write it down. 233. It's gonna be Loki.
Everybody's
no, it's gonna be Loki who's in charge of all this stuff, and he's the one that created the TVA. Write it down right now.
So
write it down right now. Bookmark.
I thought it was pointing to Kang, but it could be.
We have Mephisto.
It could.
No.
Yeah,
no more.
Sure, that's everybody else.
Let's not do that.
No. Because it's not Disney's fault; it's our fault.
I actually see what
like,
John.
are we always destined to lose?
You get in there. You get in there. Go on.
What?
Yeah. Always destined to lose.
Yeah. So there's one super Loki that's caused all this shit. So that is possible, but the thing for one thing, I was kind of pissed because when I was watching the episode, and they finally get up in the elevator, and you finally see the timekeepers. I couldn't understand what they were saying. I had to watch the scene like 3 times. Like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Like they're just mumbling, and I was like, I bet they're gonna be androids or something. And then of course she cuts off one of their heads in their animatronics. I'm like,
And what's funny there is they made the middle timekeeper look like Kang a bit. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Well, can I interject and just say a negative thing about all of this?
Oh, me too. I could say tons, but go on.
Wow.
Remember last episode, I went on my diatribe talking about how
Diablo.
it's like these shows aren't meant to do big things.
Yeah,
and that's why I agree with Joey. Is like they're gonna make Loki be the big bad of this show because they don't have the balls to pull out Kang the Conqueror in this.
That's why I'm
or
thinking
anyone else.
Well,
I think also we have Miss Minutes. Yes, Richard.
I think that's just a propaganda tool.
yeah. I don't think that means anything.
Dana, you stole my thunder. I was gonna say Miss Minutes is the one pulling the strings here, but I see Joey's theory as far as like Loki being the big bad because the series so far has been a very deep look into Loki's psyche.
Yeah.
You're getting all this stuff where he's openly admitting that he's lonely, that he's something of a narcissist, that he has love interests that can go here or there, all this other stuff. He's talking with a female version of himself, all these things. So it's like he is his greatest friend and his worst enemy, and that seems to be kind of the theme here. So it wouldn't be that big of a shock if there's another Loki that's really behind all of this.
Yeah,
that we haven't seen yet.
well, I'm more and more agreeing with Joey's theory because they were causing a Nexus event just by having emotions for each other. I guess in the 3rd episode, remember they grab each other, and then you see the spike start happening, and Mobius comments that I've never seen a Nexus forming like this. So it was kind of weird that just them in contact with each other, I guess they were having a moment, and then that was causing a Nexus event.
But I don't think the timelines were supposed to meet each other.
Even in the past few episodes, Mobius commented like, who is better to chase a Loki than a Loki?
Yes.
And that's when he was kind of pushing that plan to. But then episode 3 happened, and
so question.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I have to ask this question, and maybe y'all have an answer. Does Loki not know how to talk to a woman? Because I'm trying to figure out why is he having a hard time conveying his emotions for Sylvie.
Well, I have the answer to that.
Okay.
The answer to that lies in that little dimension that Mobius put him in, where he was getting hit in the balls repeatedly and slapped repeatedly by that woman because he has problems with women. I think that pretty much tells you everything right there.
Okay, I'll take that as a good.
I'll take that.
Okay, so we haven't even really dived into the episode itself. We're just gonna get right into it. But let's just start from where it was at the beginning. The TVA, they rescue Loki and Loki solely because I think that it was just because they created such a huge Nexus event. You disagree, let me know, but I think it's because of the spike of the Nexus event. Not so much of the fact that, the TVA always wanted them dead to begin with, but the fact that they caused this huge event was the reason why they brought them in, I feel. I'm going to think that's the consensus. So then after that, they separate them, and we see Morbius kind of play the bad cop role where he's explaining Lady Loki is basically dead, and he's trying to figure them out and to have, get what it is that's really going on, and whether or not he was the big mastermind behind everyone, or was it the other way around and what was really going on. And so he kind of hides some information in order to manipulate Loki. And this is kind of a moment where you see he has kind of feelings for Sophie at this point. And we kind of knew before because, when they was on the rock together, they was getting all cozy-dozy. And so he is kind of able to use that a little bit to his advantage, and he's trying to get information out of him. And that's when, after being thrown in the whole thing with Lady Sif and that little time loop area, he was like, "Oh, it was all me all along," and he kind of pretends to be the bad guy that I guess Morbius wants him to be. And so, any thoughts on that whole bad cop situation and with the Lady Sif, Joey?
Well, that
Sorry, what was the question?
yeah. What was the
Was there
exact question?
any thoughts on Lady Sif and Owen Wilson playing the bad cop, trying to play the bad cop?
Well, first off, I love her. She doesn't know yet. She's gonna find out soon. I'm gonna let her know on Twitter or something. But I'm glad to see her back. No, but the I'm trying to think if that was before or after the mention of the vampires.
Ah, yes, that's right. We got Blade, Eternals, and Thor. Not Thor, Titans.
Yeah, I was thinking of possibly Thanos' brother.
No.
I mean, no, it was just a mention. It was just a throwaway line. So maybe things that happened in the past. I'm trying to Arios. It was his name. I'm trying to remember.
Eros.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I thought the mention of that was the people on Titan, which, as of Endgame and Infinity War, Titan no longer exists. Playing the good cop, bad cop. I mean, that scene frustrated me a bit because the main purpose of that was for Loki to explain to Mobius that everyone in the TVA were variants and things of that nature. It really took like 15 minutes just to get that one sentence out. And I'm just like, guys, come on, guys. We're beating around the bush here way too long. You know what? Yeah, it was me. You know what? She's dead. Oh, good riddance. Yeah, I really don't care. Just tell the man what you got to tell him. Let's be on our way right now.
Yeah, that padded the episode. That was unnecessary. They only did it to pad the episode.
Yeah, to me, that thing only existed just to have a cameo from what's her face. Like literally it. Like I'm like, this has no point here because it all ends with like, oh, by the way, I believe you now, Loki. Let's go. It's like we wasted our fucking time with this.
Yeah,
like,
because
No, we had to have a scene in order for him to go speak to Ravonna. He had to be somewhere and do something. Why not
yeah, but I
write
could have told you
himself?
that in a sentence, like, hey, by the way, TVA are all variants. Oh, yeah, he's gonna go investigate it somehow or do his own thing. But we spent the first 2 episodes with Mobius and Loki already bonding. So this moment here is information from these 2 characters that already formed a bond, and they're just trying to get a one-up over each other. It's like, what are we really doing here? But yeah. Well, I say, look at Richard's on my side. I got Richard's on my side.
Richard, what are your thoughts? Has the aliens got you?
You're on mute.
You're
muted, Rich.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I actually agree with Joey's point, and I that Owen Wilson and Joey's future wife, in my personal opinion, they have better chemistry than Loki and Sylvie, because from the very beginning of this show, you saw that they had a bond, and obviously it was painful for her to turn on him in the end, but I felt that more than any chemistry between Loki and Sylvie right now, in my personal opinion. So,
well, that's because Sylvie's a plank of wood, like every Marvel leading woman in the last freaking 5 years. She could form a super team with Captain Marvel. We'll call it the Planks.
The Planks.
I made the popcorn just for this. Wow.
Maybe add Ray Palpatine in there just to.
Wow. Here is something where you guys thought that scene with Sif was a throwaway. It actually goes back to the comics, which explains how Loki got the Dwarfsman to create the hammer for Thor.
Yeah, no, it's also tied to his mythology, but for the episode, it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, again, it was cool seeing Sif. I have no problem with that. And it was cool seeing a little bit of Norse mythology in there. But it was a throwaway. Like, objectively, it's a throwaway. It was.
Once you have him explain the scene, like, all he said was, I know what I did after I cut off her hair. I went and drank and went to sleep. Like, oh, great. Okay. Really add some context to this bullshit loop that we need to go through to make this runtime 42 minutes. And look, like, does this make sense? Okay, so in the beginning of episode 3, you had Sylvie, I don't know, drop
Exactly.
kick her way to the elevator and almost get up to the timekeepers. Apparently, she can only fight when it's men, and she kills all the TVA guys leading up to the door. And then, so when you finally capture her and lock her away and say she's too dangerous, we have to have guys out here and put the collar on her, all that. Do you take her up to Showbiz Pizza to meet the guys that she was trying to kill in the first place? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
Why
that's
would you?
stupid.
They have all this technology. Once you take her to like an apocalyptic event, just throw her in or something and be like, the timekeepers are appeased and throw her in a volcano. Or would you do something? Would you not prevent her from getting up the elevator? You did exactly what she was trying to do in the last episode,
Oh
which
my
was to
god.
get in the elevator and go up there. And then you took her up there, and then she did exactly what she wanted to do, which was murder them.
And by the way, there it is. There it is. Chris made me hate the episode now. There it is. You're right, yo. Again, they were trying to stop her from going up there. Then they bring her up there anyway. Huh?
You know what their explanation of that will be? Well, we didn't account for the agent that was going to show up. That had all of a sudden had a change of pace. What is it? Is it?
Yeah.
What's the agent's name? Because I forgot the name completely. I just
They
know
only have designations. There's like B15.
B15 and B15.
I can't call her what I call her personally on air, but
Goodness. But yeah, you might be thinking of B15. The one that is like what's it like for all time, always or whatever.
She's
Like-
the black
like-
one.
Yeah, that's B15. I think they called it like Hunter B15 or something
Mhm.
like that.
that's the name of
And
the
B20
droid,
is-
man.
And C20 is the one that Ravonna was saying lost her mind and everything, but we saw that wasn't really the case. So yeah.
So Hunter B. I want to add this point in real quick. When they had the scene where she went with Sylvie and Sylvie showed her past, I thought to myself, that actress must have been thinking to herself, yes, I had an excellent first season of Lovecraft County, because that's the show that I and my only criticism is that whenever Sylvie does show these people their past, why don't we have a flash to what that person's past was like? That was
We got the flash.
No, with her, with this chick, like they could have easily showed 3 seconds of her being happy instead of her. Oh, I was happy. I'm like, why do you have to tell us that? Show it real quick. Have her in a restaurant, chilling and shit. Bam, and then you see her tears. That's all you need. That tells you everything you need to know. But I guess they couldn't do that. They couldn't go to like a bar in LA real quick. Take to do it with a webcam, webcam or something. And just get a quick couple of seconds. They couldn't do that.
Yeah, they just had a throwaway line. I was happy. That made her betray the whole TVA.
So they were saying C20 was the one where they claim she lost her mind and
Yeah.
These are droid names for Star Wars, by the way.
C20 is what I call that train in episode 3 because we all lost our minds on that one.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are just vicious.
I'm waiting for the end.
The Popo coming. We get to arrest this show right now.
We get to the second half.
I mean, we're not vicious. It's just there's these huge holes in
gotta point
logic
it out,
in the
gotta point it
storytelling.
out. Yeah.
I mean, if she was so dangerous, the whole show we've been building up to like, oh, this Loki variant's so dangerous and she's unstoppable. She's killed how many agents? She stole all those reset charges. By the way, we don't know how they fixed that. That was just completely glossed over. There was hundreds of events she caused, and they just that fixed it. Don't worry about it. It's all fixed.
Damn, man.
They glossed over that, and then they don't take her in like Hannibal Lecter up the elevator. They just put the stupid collar on her, which they do with everyone else, and bring her up with minimum restraints. 6 guards, which she easily, she killed 10 on the way up to the elevator the first time. So I don't know why you thought less would be better.
There it is. There it is. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Oh man.
And then you get to the payoff where Loki still can't find his words. It's like, oh, what I'm trying to say, and then he gets vaporized, or we think he dies, so he doesn't die. And then so there's hope that we'll see Owen Wilson on his jet ski eventually.
Whoa.
Wow. So then, how did everyone feel when it came to the phone switching scene and Ravonna kind of being revealed as the big baddie?
Oh, I wasn't surprised at all. I knew that Ravonna was going to catch Mobius having switched off that device and everything. She was already suspicious of him with all the questioning that he was doing. When she went and placed that I don't know what was it, like a sword or something, like up on the mantle, she had to know that, like, let me check, let's see if he does something, And so later on, she's like, okay, like, he's up to something because he just gave me his device and took mine. And at that point, like, she wasn't even going to listen to reason. She was pruning his ass, and that's exactly what happened.
He also didn't take the drink.
Yeah, yeah. It's just not. It's not. It wasn't like it didn't. That part didn't surprise me. Like I figured from that conversation that Mobius and Ravonna had, I figured that it's not Ravonna being manipulated. She's trying to manipulate him and try to keep the secret. Like, she knew that he was a variant and didn't want him to question it, didn't want him to know, because maybe she generally does like him, but she likes him so provided that she can continue to control and manipulate him. As soon as that's done, it's like, okay, now you have to be pruned or deleted or whatever you want to call that. So that whole thing didn't surprise me.
Jeepers Creepers, I see you laughing. Richard?
Gotta give him a second. He's on a delay.
I think Ricky's made some very good points. I don't have anything to add to that. Yeah, it was good. That was that but it wasn't really a surprise, because you knew everything ahead of time. With all the questions that he kept asking, she already figured it out. So that's why I said, I felt like the chemistry and relationship between those two characters very strong, and we knew that from the very beginning of the show because of the way they were interacting with each other. So once she had to make that decision, yeah, I felt something with that because I like the Owen Wilson character also. So yeah.
I was gonna follow up with what you were saying, Richard. That the chemistry, it's like that's why I paid very close attention to that conversation, because that could have gone one of two ways. We know the way that it went, which is her being like, "Don't be ridiculous. Where's all this coming from?" Mm-hmm. The other way it could have gone is, "Oh, really? Tell me more." Like, what do you mean? Like, can you elaborate? Because if she was in the dark about this as well, about this whole thing with being variants, then it could have been something where she goes and helps him out, because it's like, oh shit, you're right. We're actually being manipulated by TVA. But I knew from that conversation how she kept trying to sidestep it. And like, oh, you're leaving after one drink? Where are you going? Where, like all this other stuff. Yeah. She was in on it. And that made that pretty clear. So that's why when that whole thing happened where Mobius tries to take Loki back to TVA, and there's Ravonna and the guards waiting, that didn't surprise me. I was expecting that.
And also, it makes me think, why didn't they just fry those both of the Lokis right there? Like they didn't really serve a purpose. They were willing to get rid of them beforehand. Ravonna would tell what's his face, Mobius, like, yeah, why don't you just get rid of them? And it makes me think it's like she's probably in on it, and the person she's serving is probably Loki. I don't know. My thing is, yeah, Joey, I see. It's all going back to your theory.
I like Data's expression. Data, I'll ask you a question. What purpose did that execution serve? To appease the animatronics? Who was that for?
What, for Mobius?
No.
When they killed Mobius?
Taking the Lokis up to Chuck E. Cheese, right? We know we're not real. They're not real. So who was that for? Ravonna could have killed them at any time. Joey said that, right? So if this shit wasn't televised for like all the timelines to see we're executing these two, who was it for?
Hello,
Literally, she killed Mobius without him finishing a sentence.
Yeah.
But
because she killed him because that's when he knew he was a variant.
No, I know, but I'm saying it wasn't done with the other two Lokis.
Because they need the two Lokis because they caused that Nexus event that they don't know what the Nexus event is. That's why they rescued him. They could have been left them on a planet that was going to be what a blister, the thing with the moon. Killed by the moon. They could have easily just left them there. I don't really think they was really looking that much, but it was the fact that they caused the Nexus event that caused this huge spike that was much different than they've seen in other spikes. That's why they brought them back. And that's why I think with the whole animatronic situation and they brought them up there, the Chuck E. Cheese, they didn't expect for them to, go off and kill the wizard. They expect them to be afraid and cowardly.
Well, okay, so if it was important to have the two of them to cause the Nexus event, why did one of them get pruned anyway?
Because they both of them affected that event. It's not just one person. They don't know what the event is. Well, they were technically restrained until Mobius was like, I'm letting you guys free.
Wait, so can I ask a quick question?
No, I mean, they took the collars off. Why didn't she put a collar on him or taser him or something?
B20 took the collars off of them, and that's how they were able
but why? But nobody
B15.
knew. She conveniently got knocked out. The worst trope in any show. Sylvie doesn't finish her, just punches her in the face and leaves her on the floor. Like nothing bad will come of this.
Oh, we knew what was happening next.
And then if they really wanted to punctuate the scene, she would have just stabbed her with Sylvie's sword. I mean, stabbed him.
Mm-hmm.
Like have real gravitas when you do these shows. Don't do that. But they wanted everybody to know. That's why that after credit scene was there. If you wanted people to really be in suspense, you wouldn't have shown that Loki woke up in that destroyed New York. You would have saved that shit for the beginning of episode 5 and be like, oh damn, he's alive. Oh my god, hallelujah.
People would have probably turned out at that point, because at the point I was just like, what's the point? And that's when I thought that Sophie was going to be the one who's like, oh, I'm now Loki now, and here I am in the Avengers.
Can you imagine if at the end of Wrath of Khan you saw Spock's freaking coffin open up? Like, he's not dead. No, you saved that shit for the next movie. You think, well, he's dead. That's it.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you brought up Star Trek, because that's what I was thinking during that last fight scene. That terrible fight scene.
It was a terrible.
But they're just like, and Loki's like looking over at another fight. I'm like, this is the worst thing I've seen.
That was bad.
CW stuff.
That was Iron Fist right there.
Everyone was just like, "Oh, I was crying during the episode. I was crying for a different reason." That was terrible.
That's did we watch the same episode here? What do you?
And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No." Everyone deserves to get pruned. Everybody.
The show writers need to get pruned.
I see you wanting to say something.
I just wanted to add that, yes, I want to give a shout out to Chris, because that is the question I was going to ask. How would y'all have felt if the show ended that last scene and there was no after credit scene? Would you still say this is the most amazing episode?
I would have turned it off.
Well,
I would have been like, oh shit, they're actually going bold. Let's go.
I would have kept going.
I would have turned it off.
No, that would have been fantastic until they fucking cheap out at the end.
Yeah.
I would have turned it off.
I would have kept going.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, this show actually finally got good.
Because we already saw him die.
No, I disagree, because then, like, if everyone's thinking, oh, then Loki's dead, our Loki or whatever Loki, this one, fucking Tom Hiddleston, it's like, then people are like, oh, they didn't have the balls to just kill him. Like, it's good that they did it right away. It's like, nah, he's not dead, so people won't be like, oh, is he dead or is he not? Like, people will have a lot of speculations, a lot of videos coming out, and it's like he's not going to be dead, and people are going to be pissed because he was never dead, and they just made us wait for nothing. So,
but they still cheaped out anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying they're going to cheap out anyway, either way. So it's like,
I think it would have been more suspenseful that way. We all know he would have came back. We all knew that they got this motherfucker for 6 episodes. We knew that, but just from a narrative standpoint, it would have been better if they just ended the episode right there and then. Yeah. And then on the next episode, you're like, oh, this is crazy. Where the fuck is he at? So I think they cheaped out for sure. But then again, that's the whole thing about the show. It's just cheap in general. It's a cheap ass fight scene.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, if they had ended the episode like that without having the after credits, there would have been a lot of upset people. Maybe some that would have sworn off, like, what's the point of watching the last 2 episodes if we don't have Loki, whatever. Yeah. But it would also, like the whole thing is like, it would have caused all kinds of speculation, like, Loki has to be alive, but how? Where would he be? That kind of thing. And that kind of cliffhanger would leave you waiting to the next episode, like, okay, this sucker has to be alive. It's just a matter of how. But instead, they gave us that where it's like, oh, there he is, but where the hell is he? But the thing is, remember, this is a short series. This is only 6 episodes long. Mm-hmm. So they've given us a lot of speculation already, because now that we've seen that people that are pruned don't necessarily disappear off existence, that leaves you wondering what happened to everyone else that's been pruned. So you're already now speculating. You're wondering who the heck are these other Lokis that we're seeing? Like, what's going to happen next? That whole thing. And again, like, there's only 2 episodes left. So I thought it was the right move to actually do the after credits. I'll say this, that I watched the episode, like Wednesday morning, and then when Loki got pruned, and then they cut the credits, I was like, what the fuck? And I'm talking to my friends online. I'm like, yo, you gotta be shitting me. There's no way they're doing that. Like, no. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, do I really want to watch these last 2 episodes if it's just starring Sylvie? I'm not so sure that I want to do that. And I had the same feeling. This is a spoiler for anyone that hasn't watched Death Note. And if you haven't watched Death Note and it's like 15 years old, then I'm sorry, deal with it. This is a spoiler. Okay. When L dies, I stopped watching for a couple weeks because I was like, that was my dude. And you just killed him off. And what's the point of continuing watching this thing? Let me hold off. It took me a couple weeks. And I'm like, okay, fine. Let's see where they go from here. You could have had people that felt like that about Loki, where it's like, you're really going to kill off the main character? Why am I going to watch this crap? But instead, they know that people who are watching it already know about MCU. They know that there's some fuckery that happens in the credits, so you got to stay tuned in. You got to stay watching. Then you got that reveal, like, okay, he's not dead after all, so I can continue watching this because now I got to know what happens next. So I thought it was the right move for them to do that.
My thing was like, he died twice. Like we saw him die again. I don't know.
Even he commented like, "Oh, I died a bunch of times already."
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
Mobius affected me.
Yeah, none of these deaths affected me, to be honest. But I understand where you're coming from, Ricardo. Like I understand that, but me, because by the way, that whole thing was fucking spoiled for me because I didn't see this until last night. So I already saw the rap album cover of the Lokis at the end and shit. I already seen that. People already telling me like, yo, there's after credits because there has been no after credits yet on this series. This was because first one. So I already knew that going in, but I'm just going from a narrative standpoint. I would have preferred that, and I don't mind that if they kill characters even that I like. I mean, Game of Thrones killed my man Ned, and I'm like, okay, whoa. This just got interesting. But I was like, this show just got really fucking interesting now, and then they killed all the other guys I like. I'm like, ooh, where's this going? This is good, So I like that, and but like I've said this before, I'm not like a big Tom Hiddleston fan. I think he's blah, to be honest.
What about Tom Hiddleston?
Him too. I don't like. I don't know how. Hiddleston. I don't know how to pronounce his fucking last name. The guy, he's not. You know what? I'll stop.
Rich, you're muted.
Yeah, no, it's because Marvel keeps doing this shit. And it pisses me the fuck off. Like they have these characters in the MCU, right? They get big, they blow up, and then the characters in the comics start acting like the people in the series. I'm like, stop doing that. They ruined Tony Stark. They ruined Loki. They ruined Doctor Strange. It's frustrating. Anyway, ran over.
So can I just make a comment?
Unless it's a controversial.
Damn.
So I think when Loki got pruned, that was when Tony said, "This was an excellent episode."
Yeah, I was like, let's go.
I said
Hey,
the
listen,
same.
I thought the same thing because
I
that
thought
was
the
like the
same.
boldest move in
Yeah.
this entire show. It's like, wow, you just killed the main character. Holy shit, where do you go from here? But
Yeah, I was like, let's go. But
I love
Yeah.
watching Miss Sophie.
So
Joe.
so
that after
Going back to-
credit, that it was a waste to do it. Like you are too afraid to carry through with your own story points. That doesn't build confidence. That to me is a bitch move, to be honest with you. Like, I lose respect for the writers. Like honestly, like just take Anthony Mackie's speech from the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier and line up the writers of this show and give them that speech. Do better, all of you.
yeah, I kind of
Harsh.
I love
like
it.
I'm one of the people that prefers the post-credit scene just because I didn't want the Last of Us 2 anti-Abby hate pieces coming out for Sylvie. I don't want to go through that again. So I'm glad they did this. They weren't going to kill Tom Hiddleston off. It was if anybody
yeah.
who thought that he was, there was a 1% chance that he would be dead, is obviously not paying attention to this show or to this MCU or
how Hollywood works,
or how Hollywood works exactly. Yeah. Like it's he's the main dude. He's the only reason people are watching this show, and they're not gonna kill him off. And there's a season 2 already announced.
Yeah. Oh, there was. Oh God.
There was not.
Really?
I'm pretty sure there is.
What?
No.
It's when?
No.
They haven't announced season 2s of any of these shows.
Well, it's not announced, but they're gonna work on it. Like the plan is to have.
No, they don't.
They need to stop. They need to stop.
No, they never stated that. No. What Kevin Feige said was that if there were ever seasons for their other shows, that season would have been bled into the movies.
Okay.
So we're not getting a WandaVision season 2, but we're getting a WandaVision season 2-ish in Doctor Strange.
Can't wait.
Right, and there's Thor: Love and Thunder, so I assume.
And there's I don't know if he's in Thor. He just hasn't been in any of the sets.
And going back to the believing he's dead. Anybody, we mentioned Star Trek before. When they killed Spock, it's like, yeah, that shit was emotional, but they brought that motherfucker back. They did bust out a bitch move too. So it's like,
yeah, but they didn't do it in the after credits.
They did it in the next movie.
They did it in the next movie, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, does bringing Spock back make me happier? I'm like, nah. Rathacon could have been standalone. I would have been happy, man.
Oh yeah. No, listen, the search for Spock was trash. No one's defending that movie, But why are we mad about that? Because they brought Spock back. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you got Loki here dying more than Goku.
Yeah, right.
That's another one too.
Yeah.
And then the thing was that even the post-credit ending, I couldn't stop laughing because it just looks so cheap. You just have these dudes standing there in a green screen. You can get upset, Dana. Okay, you get mad. But I'm like, yo, it looked terrible. I'm like, come on. We did this in a day? Like, it looks awful. It's like, oh, like, where am I? All right, cool, great.
Nah, but alligator Loki though, man.
Well,
they look like they're releasing the illest mixtape.
Yeah, they're for real, man.
Yeah.
You saw my man that fucking viejo and shit wearing like the cosplay.
That old dude is from Star Wars.
Yeah, that's hilarious,
Richard Grant?
man.
Yeah, he's from Star Wars.
I need a whole season of alligator Loki. That's what I need.
Thrawn?
Yeah, you pair him and Frog Thor. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I said something nice. I like the alligator.
I don't understand why those scenes look so cheap. Like episode 3 look terrible. Like I'm like, yeah, 2 seasons of Mandalorian, and that was filmed in a freaking dome with Unreal Engine, and that looked better than this.
Yeah, but the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he's flying through with the helicopter,
that looks
really good.
Yeah.
So I look at this and I'm like, this is the cheapest thing I've ever seen. This is a CW show right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, CW looks worse, but yeah, I understand the sentiment though.
So I don't know what impact that scene was supposed to have, but it caused me laughter.
I did think that the scene in the Lamentus episode where they're like walking, they're trying to walk towards the ship, and that's like the same conversation where they reveal that TVA are all variants.
Yeah.
I'm like, are these two actors like walking on like a conveyor belt, and it's just a green screen behind them, and they're just walking in place? Because I can't see their feet, so I don't know what they're walking on. It's like it did look kind of cheap.
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
Yeah. By the way, it happened again, right? When they were conveniently having their conversation outside, all the meters were just striking around them, not near them. You know, it's like, all right, we just chill out for a second here, guys.
Ricardo, they were working on Marvel's money.
Oh,
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
but not the money they spent on this series. Apparently,
You
Well,
know, this,
I mean,
this is-
I know I wasn't here last week, so I didn't get to rant about Lamentus too much. But
oh Lord.
I'll just say, like, I mean, it wasn't a total failure, but you know, when you have a cataclysm happening around two characters, and somehow that's boring, like
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
failed in
It's like a
storytelling.
force field, an invisible force field. around
Exactly.
them.
Yeah.
Also, explain to me why there's soldiers stopping them from getting to the ship while there's calamity and
we
death
talked
happening
about that.
all
We're like,
around them.
why?
Listen, if I'm standing there in a uniform and I'm about to die, I'm not gonna be like, let me arrest these guys. For what are you doing? Everybody should have been running, screaming. They should have just been pushing people out of the way, going to the ship. And you saved the slow motion, I'm stunned by the explosion, for the ship blowing up. And that's when you do the stunner that he's like knocked out because he failed. He failed to get to the arc. That's when you have the gravitas scene of it slowing down. Instead, they used it in the beginning of that scene. Then they run around the city, and somehow he reverses a building back up that was falling down. I didn't understand that. Don't know what that was about.
Same.
And then they get to the ship and he fails, and they just stand there dumbfounded. And I'm like, really? That's how you're going to end this? He's just standing there looking like an idiot, and like, oh, whoops, we didn't make it.
And in this episode, no one brought up the building.
Yeah.
No.
How do you
So
do
we
it?
actually
Yeah.
we discussed
did
all
that.
of
We
that
just-
last week.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
talking
all
about in the show.
In the show, they didn't
The
explain.
characters didn't acknowledge that.
No. It just happened, and it's just like, okay, that's
we're done.
that's totally normal.
That's the
Yeah, that's what I'm
person
saying.
who's
They never
controlling
ex-
everything.
They never explained that. Maybe they will explain it, but like Loki, none of these people could do anything like that. You know,
Because
just
that's the
reverse
person
time.
who's fully in charge of everything. I
We
still
don't
say
know
it's
that.
Bennett.
Yeah.
This Loki right here.
It's
That Loki right there.
Yeah, that
the silhouette.
that one. Yeah,
That Loki
that
right
one
there.
is so. There you go. Thank you.
But that's an assumption.
Oh my God, everything is an assumption.
Yes. Until it's revealed. Yes. Yeah. Remember there in WandaVision where you told me it was Magneto?
Yeah.
We're not talking about that, okay?
I'm talking about it. Listen,
We're not bringing up that reset button on all of that conversation. But moving on.
Yes.
So
Yep.
we have now. What do you guys think will be any theories going forward? Who do you think? Any theories? Who's actually in control? How does it affect any of the timelines that either is to be forward or what we've seen
All
previously?
right, I'll put forward a tinfoil hat theory.
Uh-oh.
Dana was right, and Lamar is still alive. The eye drops gave him powers, and he's actually running the Time Variance Authority. That's how he comes back into the MCU.
Y'all make fun of me all y'all want to. It's okay.
I made
knows.
my prediction. I made my prediction at 2:33. I marked it down.
Yeah, he did. That was a good
That it
one.
was that was all okay.
That was Loki.
Yeah. No predictions for me. I just hope the show gets better.
What about the alligator?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but they're not going to give this guy a show, so I can't hold out any hope for
It'll
that.
be like Far Cry. It'll be like a side project.
But yeah, but I generally agree. They're you know, I mean, I've said this before. Like somebody is the grand mastermind of this shit. I don't know who, but we'll find out eventually. Probably we're probably, if the show does things the way they're supposed to, we'll see them at the end of the next episode, and then follow it up on the finale if they do it right. Because that'll be cool. Like, oh shit. And by the way, you guys kept saying homegirl's name was Ravonna, right? That's Kang's girlfriend's name. Just throwing
Thank
that
you.
out.
Which is why she had to be the evil one.
Yeah. So
But
maybe,
that's why my
maybe it's
theory
the
was
homie.
it was Kang.
Yeah, maybe it might be Kang. But the thing is, Kang kind of operates alone in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like he never runs an organization. He's just he's a conqueror. Kang the Conqueror. He just conquers shit. So to have him essentially be an administrator, kind of weird. But at the same time, who else could it be besides Kang? You know, he is the master of
Joey.
time. You know, it could be Joey. That'll be dope. You know? You're a Dominican up there, fuck yeah. You know, but yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen. And we'll see what happens with Sophie and these other people. I think we will eventually, if the show doesn't cheap out, we'll see the other people in their own little pocket universes and shit. Maybe Owen Wilson is on his little ski board or whatever the fuck it was. You know? Wow.
So,
Owen Wilson could be Loki hidden the whole show for a while.
It could be. You know, yeah, and I'm glad
Like
you
I said
because
in the last episode.
I think there's a trick coming, a twist coming. So hopefully it'll be satisfying. Because if they somehow make it so they do a twist that makes everything, even all the dumb stuff, worth it, I'll be like, that's fucking clever. I don't think these writers have it in them to do that, but I hope they do. You know, I hope they do. You know?
And I'm hoping for no more fight scenes.
I'm hopeful.
I'm hoping for no more fight scenes.
Yeah, no, they trash.
that fight scene was worthy of like Batman and Robin. That's like they needed those ice skates to pop out of their shoes and skate around.
Get the dudes who did the choreography on Daredevil. You know?
Oh, that would have been awesome. That would have been amazing.
What about you, Cloverfield?
What?
Cloverfield, that's Richard.
Oh, yeah.
We got two Riches in here, man.
I also don't have any predictions. I think I like a lot of what Tony, Joey, other theories that y'all said already. I just want to say this: I will be very disappointed if that line by Morbius that mentions vampires means that we're not going to see Blade until Phase 5.
We're not seeing them until 5. They announced this.
Mentioned so early when we have to wait till Phase 5. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hey, listen, it can only get better, right? It can't get any worse, right?
Hey, don't say that.
Me and Tony put the same face. Me and Tony got the same face.
Don't say that, bro. Remember the fifth episode of Falcon Winter Soldier? That show was going up and up and up, and then
No, the
don't
sixth
say
episode
that.
was a trash one that you all
Sixth episode was disappointing for sure, but that fifth one was like, bro, no.
Well, Rich, to answer your question, Rich, it can get worse because there's always an episode 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's rock bottom for me. So, as far as predictions, I like the 2 hour 53-minute Joey Polanco prediction about Loki. To me, it makes sense. It makes sense why everything revolves around Loki. Loki's falling in love with Loki. You know, it didn't turn out to be Enchantress. It turned out to be a Loki. Everything. I think it's just gonna and going back to my whole theory or my whole spiel with the TV shows is that they don't really introduce like huge things that affect the MCU movies like I felt like they should, and that's why I don't think they're gonna do Kang the Conqueror or anything like that.
You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, they also stated that Kang the Conqueror was going to be the bad guy in Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
If that's the case, they're not going to use them on the show. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So I don't think the only thing that I think the TV shows are good for is just mentioning stuff like werewolves and Time Guardians and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to get any Time Guardians in this show. I think we're going to get a mention of them, but I think. I agree with Joey. It's gonna be Loki, a variant of Loki that's running everything.
It could also be the alligator.
It can be the alligator. It can be. It gets pretty swampy over there, and
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, in the past, when Thor kept saying the story like, "Oh, he used to turn into a snake and then turn back and then stab me," now it's an alligator. Maybe something's not like that. That's just me thinking too much. That's me thinking too much.
So what was it, Chris?
Oh, predictions. I think Loki is going to team up with all the silly versions of himself in that New York, and they're going to go jumping through different pocket dimensions. They'll pick up Owen Wilson on the way, and then they're going to meet up with Sylvie, who has somehow beat up everyone in the TVA, that entire city, and then go find the master Loki that's running the show. And that'll be the reveal, and then episode 6 happens, and we'll see from there.
Ricardo, I see you smiling.
Yeah, so it's really just funny, like all these all these theories we come up with is who's the baddie, because you have like, oh, it's gonna be Lady Loki, and Lady Loki is actually Enchantress, and Enchantress is actually Sylvie, but Sylvie's not the bad one. It's the TVA, and the TVA is being run by Ravonna, who's having things run by the Timekeepers, who we think may be run by Kang, who might actually be run by Miss Minutes, who is run by Loki.
Man, let's go.
Who is run by you, the viewers. You are the villains. You are the villains in all of this.
I like this. I like the way you think, brother. I like the way you think, man.
Wait a minute. When we did the episode 2 podcast, I did say, and go back to it, I said the TVA was the actual bad guys.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah. But not Chris. It's another bad guy on top of that. Another bad guy on top of that, man.
That's right.
It's bad guy Inception.
Yeah, so I mean, the prediction in more simple terms is that we're gonna see that it's Miss Minutes was actually Loki,
and Miss Minutes is actually a little girl holding a snow globe in a hospital.
Yes,
the whole thing.
either that or
it was just a dream. It was all a
dream.
There was a snow globe in this lady's office.
Yo, for some reason,
that's true. No, that's actually true.
Miss Minutes reminds me of the paperclip from Windows. Maybe that's the villain.
Reminds me of Spot. Remember that?
Spot. Yeah. 7-Up.
Yeah, 7-Up. Yeah.
So,
here's a question. Dana, what is your prediction?
Richard has a question.
Wait, Richard has a thing.
Sorry.
I want to go to Dana. Y'all don't think that Ravonna could be Miss Minutes?
No,
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
I'm putting a no on that one.
No.
Okay.
That's gonna be a no from me, dog.
I'm going with you. Yes, she could.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
No, it seems to me like Miss Minutes is everywhere because she is basically an animated thing that can transform into probably anything.
That's a program.
So to me, it feels like she can be anywhere or in any of the timelines. And maybe she was the one who was responsible for, remember in the previous episode with the building being reversed and Loki can't reverse time. Mm-hmm. So she could easily be the one that's responsible for everything.
I don't know about easily, but yeah.
I disagree with that because then they would have been brought back earlier and not right before the planet blows up.
But who's to say that it was Miss Minutes who wants
who's to say it's not? It's an assumption.
Well, you're the one who likes assumptions all the time. When I say something, it's it's an assumption.
No, because it's not a fact. You're pushing it as a fact.
Because it's a fact.
Miss Minutes could be a program.
Miss Minutes could be a program, but I do believe that she's the one who's... Okay, so this whole thing could just be some type of reality that she controls, like you had with WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Like and Ultron was a program also, but Ultron also had a mind of its own.
Exactly, and so
who made Ultron?
Vision. Tony.
Somebody has to make that.
I did make him. That's true.
Tony Stark.
Where are we going with this?
Well,
I don't know.
If you're gonna go that crazy, you might as well say it's the clerk who didn't know what fish was. You say that he's been collecting paperweights for all these years, all the Infinity Stones, and he has what
happened to my man?
Yeah, you sound a little far away. I'm sorry.
No, he's remember that clerk that dude who kept the Infinity Stones in his desk.
Yeah. He says they're paperweights. Well, he knows what they do. Oh. He's got 2 gloves on, and he's actually running everything, snapping his fingers all day long.
Yeah.
That could be the thing. But for me, I think that, we're going to finally see a lot of explanations as to what's going on with the timelines. I think that Kid Loki will end up being part of Young Avengers because, remember, there's 20 shows in work. So I think they all have their own time to shine, and that when we get into Doctor Strange, that's when everything will probably just collide and we'll get everyone meeting each other. And I like the theory that the Loki there's actually a bad guy Loki who's controlling all of this, because it kind of makes the most sense of it all. Even the name of the show itself is just called Loki. So the answer could have just been right there the whole time. So yeah, that's what I think. I am very simple. We're going to end up seeing, we have to see President Loki because they teased that in the trailer.
That's so Vote Loki, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we'll see that. And
so
I think that it'll be fun. Yep.
This is a little random question. So if the Lokis end up having to have a final battle with whoever is behind all of this, do you think that the Black Loki character will be the first one to get killed?
Oh.
Oh,
Controversial indeed.
Not even the alligator. Damn.
The alligator's black, you know. He's gonna die first.
Jeez.
it's in a
Yeah.
horror film.
Makes sense. No, he died in comedies too, so it makes sense. So, does anyone have anything else that they want to say? Any other questions?
Yeah. I still enjoyed this episode. Chris tried his best, but I'm still a little bit hesitant, although I do agree with a lot of things that were mentioned, a lot of the criticisms that were mentioned. They were valid. But I still overall enjoyed this episode. I think it's probably either the best or the second best. Obviously, episode 3 deserves to be sent into another dimension. But other than that, pretty overall satisfied.
Anyone else?
So I was actually, this is kind of like an open question that, we talked earlier about how Loki and Sylvie weren't just killed off. They weren't pruned or whatever. They were captured and brought to these animatronic timekeepers. And, you had one of the timekeepers being I had to put the subtitles on because I couldn't understand what he was saying, but he was saying your bravado does nothing to us or whatever, something of that regard. And Loki said something like, well, do your worst, or you need us. You need us. And so it's what was the point of bringing them to the timekeepers? Do you think it was to get information from them as to why that Nexus event occurred? Because that's what I don't understand. Because if the goal was to just prune them, then why bring them to these Chuck E. Cheese puppets? You just put them in that.
They answered why it occurred. They just don't know what occurred. They don't know what is the big event that's going to happen.
Well, we know the answer.
No, he's asking why did they bring them up there? Why not just prune them and be done with it?
Are they just trying to trick Loki and Sylvie to answering their question or something? What was the point of that?
It's either I think it could be either one or two things. It could either be Loki just trying to figure if Loki is the big bad, I think it's probably Loki behind the scenes trying to see what's trying to learn more about himself, I guess, through other variants. Or if it's not, I think it was just a way for those people to find out what the hell, why did these two Loki create such a, huge Nexus fucking, variation or whatever it's called. I think those are the two. Other than that, it's just, they just wanted to figure out that the Chuck E. Cheese play dolls were fake.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Just a way for it to show us and get the mystery. Oh, they're fake. What's going on here? I think that's pretty much what it was.
Well, yeah.
But in the show, I don't know what the purpose was.
Yeah, Loki's been trying since the first episode, I believe, to meet the timekeepers.
Yeah.
And so, I was never clear on to why that was, but
yeah, I don't know. I guess
maybe all the
at
other
first I wanted
variants. Sorry.
No, I was gonna just say I thought that originally wasn't it to plead his case, and he wasn't afraid of them. So it was
I think he was just gonna try whatever way to manipulate them.
Yeah, that's true. Worm his way in there. Talk. That's what he does. So
yeah,
maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
He wanted to talk his way out of it.
like that was the whole thing of trying to agree to work together with Mobius. It's so if I do all this for you, you'll introduce me to the timekeepers, right? He's wanted to manipulate them.
PlayStation 1.
I don't understand that joke.
They missed a Loki, the PlayStation 1.
I don't get it.
Actually, that brings me
He
Actually,
means
that
God
comment-
of War. He means Atreus.
Oh, that
Oh.
okay, gang. Spoiler
Oh.
for that game,
actually that reminds me of the image you guys were talking about that was in the trailer with the Vote Loki one the one with the horns and stuff like that. In that frame, there's what's the name of that game? Polybius. I can't pronounce this right. And it was that urban legend game where it's like it was government run, and it's how people, it's like a psychology thing, how they controlled people. It's in the shot of that in that trailer.
I don't watch
that
the
Loki.
trailer, so I have no idea.
Yeah, so I don't have the image. Are you putting it up, Dana?
I purposely avoid trailers for shows I watch.
I didn't notice that. I just noticed he was surrounded by like, I don't know, Mongolians or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and on the right, there's a clear like frame of that arcade machine, and I'm just like, okay. And it has the Vote Loki sign on it. And I'm just like, okay, is he like in this realm wherever he is? Is he like the guy? I don't know if Dana could find the image.
I'm trying.
Sorry.
And that would make sense. And that would make sense if he's a Loki that conquers everything. Then it would make sense that he would be the big bad because he would have been a Nexus event that would have tried to been wiped out. Just like all the other Lokis that are banding together.
And the second question I have is, and I think Tony was asking if Loki was. Someone brought up that Loki was trying to meet with the Timekeepers. That was his first thing when he came. And who's to say, of course, that all the other variants didn't do the same either. The alligator and the other guys. So they all kind of had the same plan. Could have been.
I mean, if they're all pruned, then they had to have trying to meet
done
them.
something to.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
I mean, even with unless they just treated it like they did with Sylvie when Sylvie was a kid. Remember, they originally tried to prune her, but she ran off, which was kind of like a really cheaply done thing because she didn't run that far.
Well, it doesn't make sense why they did so. Why did they try to get her when she was a kid and Loki as an adult? Like the Richard E. Grant one, he's like mad old and.
Because I feel they'll know they're on the same time. You know what I mean? Like you may be 85 years old in one timeline and then 3 years old in another one. And they're all running at the same time, but you're different ages at different timelines, if that makes any sense. No.
Yeah, but you know, Loki, they got him. The Loki we know, they were getting him because of the whole thing with the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
And if he didn't get the Tesseract, then he would have just gone into his normal way and died. So he did something that caused the TVA to try to get him. But Sylvie, I have no clue what she did or. Well, it was also not explained in the show that like she asked Ravonna about it and she didn't. She's like, oh, I don't remember.
She remembered. She was being an ass.
Maybe.
Or maybe because I forgot what I was going to say, but the reason they don't know which Loki is the bad Loki yet, so that way they're just kind of pruning them up to that point. Because remember, Loki was originally supposed to be pruned, so that's the image.
That's him.
Is there a zoom out of this?
No. What are we looking for?
Oh, I have the shot here on my phone. Should I send it to you somehow?
Yes, just send it to me.
Where should I send it to?
Oh.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
What's going on right now? Yo, I thought we were done.
I'm putting my tinfoil hat on.
Technical
he wants
difficulties.
to tinfoil it. Just tweet it.
I send it to your Twitters.
Twitters.
No, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of questions, and you guys kind of make me feel really sad about it now.
Unless I could try to like put it on the screen. I don't know how good it's gonna show though.
I don't feel sad about it. I mean, this episode was way better than the last one.
Right? No, it
That's
was.
not saying much, but it's true. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I
Dan,
have hope. Yes.
I will say something. A lot of people love those CW shows. Most of them are shit. This is way better than all of those.
Wow.
Including most of the Flash. Even though I like part of it. That's some soap opera bullshit. This is way better.
At least those shows have action though. You know,
That's that shit. I rather go to fucking the corner and see two people fight than watch.
Wow, you guys
Carlos
are
is like, I'll
vicious.
pay for some bum fights.
yeah, those would be infinitely entertaining. You know, some
Sorry,
people
I'm gonna
slice shit.
I'm gonna try to show it on the phone. I'm sorry,
Yeah, try to show it on the phone.
but there's a shot of him here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the arcade machine.
The arcade is
Yeah. Oh, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Oh yeah.
right there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it is clearly there for a reason, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's the actual villain of the series, man.
And I'm like, it
It's
could
the
be
real
Miss
villain.
Minutes or Mr. Hours.
Yeah.
Mr. Hours.
Mr.
Hours.
Oh gosh. Yeah, but yeah,
That was
could be
10-4
one-
hat me. Sorry.
Good heavens. So yes, that seems to be everything. If anyone else has anything else to say, oh wait, Manny has something to say.
There you go. Exactly.
It's an urban legend game, yeah.
Yes.
So yes,
It's an actual real urban legend.
wonderful. So that seems to be everything. I'm excited for the next episode. I'm gonna pray that you guys like it too, and that seems to be everything. So, Mr. Tony Polanco, please do the plugations.
Yeah. As always, thank you for having me on this podcast. Infinitely more entertaining to me than the actual show, as always. Anyway, I'm on Twitter at Romudeth, ROMUDTH. Find links to all the places I write for. That is PC Mag, Laptop Mag, and I also host the Throwdown Show podcast, which I do with Chris and Carlos every Thursday and Sunday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about them video games. Also on my Twitter, I'm going to wait till I get a few more followers, and I'm going to post a tweet of Vegeta going, "It's over 9,000." I've been waiting for that, but if I do it now, some motherfuckers are going to start unfollowing me. It's going to get down to 8,000, so I got to wait.
You gotta wait till 9,001.
Yeah. No. What I'm doing is I'm waiting till like 90, 50, then I'll do it. Because if I do it right now, motherfuckers are like, "Oh, it's going to troll this guy," Anyway, but yeah, next week hopefully it'll be better.
So Polanco Jr.
No, you can follow me on the Twitters _Brooklyn Bear, and thanks a lot to Emilio Lopez for that hint right there, because I couldn't spell that for the life of me. He got it perfectly. So thanks for that. And yes, and I'm predicting it now. Next week will be better. Just saying it now.
George A. Romero.
You could follow me at Eurocar9 and on Throwdown, like Tony mentioned. And yeah, looking forward to seeing this next episode, and looking even more forward to talking to you guys with it. So yeah.
Ricardo Black.
Yes, I'm looking forward to these final 2 episodes, see exactly where this is all going to go. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at Telos09. You can definitely follow the Koalition on Twitter at the Koalition, or on Instagram at the Koalition _IG. If DC or Marvel is watching this and have any complaints, they can address that to at Stage Search.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Jeez.
Oh,
thrown under the bus. God, Mr. Seeley.
Oh yes, like Tony said, Carlos, you can find me also on Throwdown. The next Throwdown Your Questions on Monday, because we'll celebrate America's independence by getting drunk and blowing things up tomorrow.
America.
Yeah, America. So Monday night, next question show, and you can find me at Lunar Diaries on Twitter.
Wonderful. Dude, where's my car? Richard?
Yes. Excellent show. Very entertaining. I look forward to making a return at a regular, much normal location next week. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. And a shout out to Mr. Gary A. Swaby, because Miss Dana Abercrombie and myself and Gary are going to be recording another show very soon. Having to do with, a little show called Power. So stay tuned for that, because that does come back this month.
Yo, Richard's in the car right now waiting for baby mama to get her nails done.
Rich is live at the scene outside of Marvel Studios.
No, he's about to give like the biggest 10-minute lecture to the world about things that are happening. That's always in someone's car.
Always in somebody's car, and you're riveted too. You're like, yo, they're in a car, but this is serious right now.
Yeah, that's when you know what's going down.
Listen, cars make for excellent like noise canceling. Like it's like a studio, you know. So definitely a good job there, Rich.
Yes.
Very good, very good. And you can catch me over at the Koalition. Well, I will be dropping more reviews. We have some reviews coming up. We have like a big Rugrats thing that I don't know where it's at right now, but it's like a whole DVD set. I'll drop a video for that. It's like 32 DVDs. So I'll drop a review for that and a review for other things, and we will have power. And we're trying to get interviews for that. So yes. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night. See you next week.
Deuces.
Take care.
Cheers.
Yeah.